Well, hi guys, welcome to me once again, Snakebite, and my VR channel for Somnium Space. Now, I've been building like a nutter and making all manner of different things. So, although I'm seeing this in my headset, hopefully my desktop screen recorder is recording it accurately. This is one of my towers, complete with a ramp going round to the inside. That upper meshwork took me ages, good couple of hours, 2 to 3 hours. 86 tiny little blocks shrunk down into strips, and then about another 26 going right to left to actually create the fan effect. Simple in Somnium Builder though. This is no code. This is nothing like Blender or Unity or anything like that. It's using a Unity design builder, certainly. And I've got all manner of things here, so let's get started. I'm going to whiz around, just give you a quick little tour into where I'm going up the ramp here. All these are all individual blocks except for these little fence panels here. These are all individual blocks just lifted up or squashed fat and extended to make the sort of barriers, as it were. Turn here up another path. So you're getting a lovely view as we climb up the top here. There's some of my other builds. I'll pop over to those in a tick and you can have a look at those. Fabulous stadium. I do love our arena stadium, absolutely gorgeous. My museum over in the distance, floating island. This is the town centre, so when you come into Somnium Space, that's where you'll arrive, and then from there you can just spread out into the world. And don't forget, this is just my main buildings. We are literally, I think on the 5th of this month, the next couple of days, we're getting what they call a soft release of our version 2, and that will allow us all to see each other's builds. So it'll be absolutely brilliant. And on the 20th of February 2020, we will release it openly, if everything goes okay with the soft one, of course. Everything being all right, then it goes major public. So brilliant. I can't wait for that. There's going to be such an influx of people and their fabulous designs. But anyway, here we are inside the house. We step through the door, and I've got some little steps going down to an internal floor area, and of course you can put your own furniture in here, carpets down, and you'll have light coming in from the various windows. So that's a quick tower, but all of this has just been done with a block and basic overlay of various things, what they call them, textures. So yeah, absolutely fine. So I'll jump out the side, whee, fall down to the ground. Plants, well, we've got a few plants like hedges and bits and bobs, trees, various mixtures of different trees. This is all part of the Somnium Builder, so no problem whatsoever in crafting your own stuff from the basic Somnium design build. So another thing, glass fronted buildings, angled window panels, and then all just having the frameworks changed into a different colour. Again, through the door, it's going to be a sort of a gallery, so I've got various plinths here. I haven't coloured the plinths yet, and then you can put panels on or statues or whatever. And again, outside through the door, pop various bits and bobs. My little post there with a snake key on the top. That can be obviously what anybody wants when they name the gallery, because I do builds for other people. Up the ramp, and again you've got lovely views there, windows all over the place, so you can look around and you can go outside, and you can see specific pieces that might want to be highlighted and surrounded by the arch frame, as it were. So that's this chap, beautiful backdrop of the mountains. Jump off again, whee, plop. So I'll come over the back here. You can hop, like you can see, with this green teleporter or jumper if you like, but don't often use that. I tend to just zoom around using the Rift, the early Rift, as my VR headset at the moment. This is something I've made for my wife. She has a few issues with anxiety, blackouts and things like that, so but she does some fabulous artwork to keep herself calm and relaxed, and we found a local shop that does some brilliant designs, and she colours them all in, and I think her use of colour is absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. So as she does those, we're going to be mounting those around this little mini gallery for her. Again with another nice glass roof, and a little bit about my good lady there as well for people to have a read about. So yes, let's whiz round over here again. Now for those of you who are Doctor Who fanatics, I have my own little TARDIS here. Very basic little controller thing, but a bit about all the different doctors. Tom Baker, of course, to name one, William Hartnell, John Pertwee, and the times when they were various doctors, right the way through to, of course, Jodie Whittaker, who's the latest one. And I shall be putting another panel or two in here with a little bit about each of the actors that played the part of the Doctor. So there they are, and of course as we go up the ramps you've got a lot of the Doctor's sidekicks. Lady has come into her own now, really, this lady here, Catherine Tate, a very, very well-known comedienne, and she has that fabulous character Nan, doesn't she? But here are some of the monsters, of course, that old Doctor Who had to face, and I take precedent over this one because I home teach my son, and that one's called The Teacher, and I don't look anything like that. But yeah, quite a collection. Imagine comes up with all these ideas. Must be phenomenal. This one particularly is the lady, of course, from Hogwarts. She taught the students how to ride their brooms, and she in actual fact was the lady behind, I can't think of her name at the moment, but she was the lady behind that stretch skin. Cassandra, is it? Might be Cassandra. Or did I put it down on here? Oh, it's Lady Cassandra, yes, there you go. So that's a quick bit about the wee Doctor Who. What else have we got here? Oh yes, this is my castles one. So this is called the Hexagon. I also do a lot of promotional stuff with some of the other guys in our Somnium Space, so I put a bit of their advertising up. But you can come into the Hexagon, and I've got various pictures of famous castles and a little bit about each of them. Of course, Windsor Castle there, and the big fire that it had, of course, in '92. So yeah, lots of different bits and bobs. And then you can come outside and zip up the steps. And I've got the first of another one there, Stirling Castle in Scotland. Beautiful castle. And of course connected to the Scottish princes and William Wallace, to name but a few. And outside here then, of course, you've got the sun deck. So you've got some beautiful views of the mountains in the distance. Look at that, absolutely gorgeous. And oh yes, my little plop house of illusion down here. You can come into here, and there's various little tricks that play on the eye, like as you're looking at that and the lines coming out, make the boxes look out of shape, more trapezoid shape, but in fact they are perfectly square. It's funny how the brain reacts to that. And that one, for instance, one side is a big ogre with horrible eyes and teeth and stuff, but if you turn it upside down, it's a man kneeling down with braces holding his trousers up. So I love silly little things like that play with the mind. And then through the number 2 board, what have we got over there? Not masses, but I'll whiz over there. I'm still working on some of these over here. This is another little small plot that my wife wants to build some bits and bobs on. It'll probably end up with me building it for her, but whoops. And that's our pussycat, Bella, climbing out from under one of my model boats. But that's her, just as a lock onto the site to show it's hers. This is me, another one of my YouTube channels called Novice Angler. If you're into fishing, do come and meet me on the Novice Angler. And I'm in here with some various pictures. A buddy of mine who runs a fishing shop there, Mark, he's caught a beautiful common carp there, or it could be a grass carp actually. But then I'll have videos running here, so you can come here and see some of my videos from my YouTube channel. And as I say, I'm called Novice Angler there, so do come and have a little look and you'll find me online there. My son wants to make special potions so that people here in Somnium can fly and things like that, or change colour and things like that. So I've made him like a little shop just to put all his potions on, and people can come along and buy those, and he can make a few Somnium cubes, which is our currency in Somnium Space, for each of those little potions that give a little gimmick or an effect for a period of time in the program. So that's those couple there. I've got a special one up here, again advertising for some of my colleagues there in Somnium Space. This is a little make-up tea room type thing. Now, one of the guys from here is called Palamedes, and he's an ex-member of the Queen's Regiment, and so we thought it might be nice just to make something up. I believe he's making a museum all about the Queen's Regiment's history, and I've put their cap badge down as a floor piece. I'm making like a little tea room type thing, and some of these cups, if you can look down on them, actually have a brown inner. Whoops, there we go, jumped up on the table, so it makes it look like they've got cups of tea or things like coffee. And I've got information about the Queen's Regiment around this truck trailer. So that's that. That's a one over there. Oh yes, the business one. So zoom down the back here. Charge. It's all right at the moment because I can whiz direct to the properties I'm going to. But of course, when everyone's got their properties on their plots, it won't be anywhere near as easy. I shall be having to follow all the roads and running around all over the place. See my museums across the way there, and my villa on the main island. I'll run under the water in a minute and get across to there to give you an idea of those. This is, I just call it business apartments. They're just little circulating rooms. Circulating? Did I say circular? I did, didn't I? Circular rooms. And we come up the ramps again. Dink, dink, dink. And again, people as they come up here can make it, fill it up with whatever they want, and have a window out of alignment there. Look, I missed that. I'll have to adjust that in a minute. And they've got lovely views out over the bay in all directions. So people paddling their kayaks backwards and forwards, and sailboats and things, they've got spectacular views for that. So same as this one is downstairs. So that's upper floor. Okay, let's remember that. Whee, down to the beach, and here we go. So just zoom across to the other side, and then up to the museums. I mean, when you look, I'm going to stop just for a second here. Look at that. That's the clouds showing through the water above us. Now you show me a virtual reality world that looks or can simulate that so well. Absolutely stunning. What a fabulous piece of coding. I do love all this stuff. God, I'd spend my life in VR. It's a bit sad really, isn't it? But it's true. I do like VR. Right, so here are my museums. Dink. 3 big buildings. Give you an idea. I'll stand near one of them to give you an idea. They are tall buildings. And here we go. And I call them the London Museum of History. Now, I've been a London tour guide for quite a few years. I used to drive coaches as well all around London. So I'm quite up on the London history. And I've been basically putting things into these buildings to flesh them out, all about London's history. This is the quieter one at the moment. I'm still in the middle of doing bits and bobs in this one. But there, for instance, London's smallest statue. 2 little mice eating a piece of cheese. Look at that. But that's an actual statue that's in London. Bits and bobs about weird and wonderful Britain, silly stories and things like that. Ghost stories. Traitor's Gate, of course, that would be the entrance into the Tower of London, and where Anne Boleyn, of course, Henry VIII's second wife, went before later on she was beheaded. Sir Gilbert Scott, of course, designer of the old telephone boxes scattered all around London, and a bit about him and his life. So, you know, things like that I'm basically putting into the museums. But again, all of these have been built with the Somnium Space builder. I will be having audio tours with slideshows. We're just in the middle of sorting all that out with our new server to maximise the frame rate, etc., that you guys will get when you come into Somnium Space. And you'll be able to go up to these boards and actually watch a bit of specific history. So maybe all the history of Big Ben, or Nelson's Column, or Whitehall, Piccadilly, whatever. So again, we go upstairs here, and I've got the wartime posters, things like this. Let's come down here, some wartime images. I mean, imagine that. We have in America something called the underground, or the tube, people call it, and sleeping on the tracks at night when they turn all the power off, you then lay down there with your pillow or your blankets. Imagine that. Absolutely amazing. And all the girls there making the shells that our boys would be firing during various wars. And a library. How about that? Bombed out library, but still open for business. Fabulous. Shows the, I think they termed it the stiff upper lip, didn't they, of Britain. So, up here, little arrow, just to remind you need to go to this side as well. And again, then we have lots of different useless bits of information. English sailors were given the nickname limeys because they used to drink lime juice to prevent scurvy. There you go. So at the height of the Great Plague in 1665, 7,000 people died every week. You know, strange but true, as they say. Silly facts. So again, various bits. Cockney, of course, Cockney rhyming slang, part of the London way of life. If you were born within the sound of Bow Bells, then you would be expected to probably grow up listening to that. And you'll be able to have a conversation like that. Here I was on the dog and bone to the trouble and strife. She was in a right 2 and 8. Some pimple and blotch elephant's trunk, probably full of gay and frisky, had hit the old jam jar right outside the iron tank. Now most people would think, what the heck was that all about? But if you know it, it was, I was on the dog and bone, phone, to the trouble and strife, wife. She was in a right 2 and 8. She was in a right old state. Some pimple and blotch elephant's trunk. So some drunk Scotch person, probably full of gay and frisky, whiskey, had hit the jam jar, car, right outside the iron tank, the bank. So he was on the phone to his missus. She was in a bit of a mess because she'd had a car crash outside the bank. But when you read this, it's like, what the heck? But it's a language all their own. But that comes from London, of course. And if you're born within the sound of Bow Bells, you are said to be a Cockney, an authentic Cockney. Now I shall be taking people round the museum, and believe it or not, from this board to that board right down the end, you will probably take about an hour. And it's only because I will actually be giving you a proper guided tour of London and telling you all the history of these buildings and a bit about them, how they got their name, the cenotaph, for instance. If you translate the cenotaph, it simply means empty tomb, and things like that. The Savoy Hotel, Royal Courts of Justice, Charing Cross, St Martin's in the Fields, London Eye, the burial tomb of William Bligh, or Captain Bligh. You may remember the film Mutiny on the Bounty. That's the gentleman's tomb and where he's buried. And of course another big feature of London and all the regional areas are the pearly kings and queens, and there's a big story behind that. So lots and lots of things to come and visit in the museums. I'll drop down again, there we go. This is one of the other things that are featured on this channel. I've done a video about this, the creation of my little villa. And again, I keep saying it, but it's all blocks and screens and windows and that, but you can make this with the internal Somnium builder, which if you come and join us here in Somnium Space, you can find us on somniumspace.com, and you'll be able to get access to a test plot, or if you want to invest, we'd certainly love your investment, come buy some land, and you'll get a plot, and of course then you can immediately build your own designs on your own plots, small, medium and large. They're all available. Just whiz over here, I'll show you a bit more. Back under this lovely water, what a beautiful reflection of the island. And you can see the floating island through the top of the water. I love this. I know one of the guys, I can't remember who it was now, but one of our guys, we were chatting about this, and he was saying that he's got a friend who, I think it actually might have been our founder, Arthur, said he had a friend who was a diver, and he said that it's amazing the water visuals, because that's just what it looks like when you're actually underwater and looking up as you're coming back towards the surface, sort of thing. So absolutely fabulous. So where else will we take you? Yeah, I've got my space house over there. I've got some weird things floating. You probably see that in the distance over there, just to do with zero gravity. And there's a lot of people that think we went to the moon in '69. Other people don't think we went to the moon in '69. So I think people that went, I think they say debunkers, and they try and debunk what we say, because I must admit I am conspiracy theorist in that sense. I don't believe we went to the moon in '69. But I've made this little house here because I love discussing it with people, and I mean, I'm willing to have my mind changed. I really do hope we did go to the moon, but what I've done, I've corrected a whole pile of different pictures that to me prove we didn't go, but of course I'm happy to take people around and show them all these various images, and take them around my little space house and question them, and they can question me, and we'll see if we all still believe what we believe at the end, or whether someone's persuaded me that we did go. So I don't mind. I'm very open, I'm very relaxed. It's just going to be a bit of fun to show people around and chat to them all about it. So there's my bits floating in the air there. Look. Yeah. Where are we going? Oh yes, so we'll go over here. Now this is one of my tech buildings. It's a buddy of mine who runs a magazine all about virtual reality. So I said, well, tell you what I'll do, I'll make you a little building here, and we can go into it and we can tell people all about tech and all the types of VR systems, the origins of VR, some of the ways it's being used. I mean, look at that, even in a hospital, got a surgeon with a VR system on his head, probably AR rather than VR, but that allows him then to see clearly where he needs to work on someone, and they're using that. So the tech now is getting into so many places, absolutely fabulous. And one of the new Pimax headsets there with over 200 degrees field of view, that's what that means, FOV. So absolutely fabulous. And how far have we come in 100 years? Look, from the old sort of card reader that had the same image each side, and you slid that nearer or further away from the eyepiece to create a 3D image. And then here we have alongside a VR headset. So a lot can happen in 100 years. Again, backpacks to be wireless free for your virtual play. The special kits, they do a cat and a kit, which you can put this strap around your middle, your legs through those straps, and you're literally hanging in that sort of suspension area, and you can run on that lower pad system down there, and you'll be running in your VR environment. Here we have one of the body suits. The Pioneer has 16 channels, the Prodigy has 52, so many more sensors in that suit, and much more expensive as well. I'm seeing prices of £2,000 and £3,000 for a bodysuit with sensors. So, and then again, I've got a couple of panels up here where I'll be running VR animations, showing people all about VR and how it's developed over time. So there's a lot to be seen in VR. I could take ages with this video to take you around all my builds. There's a lovely coral build over there. You see Snake's castle in the background, the deck. I've got a Tudor mansion over that. You just see the roof of it in the distance. Buddy of mine, I've made him a little shop. So tons and tons of stuff. But do look us up. We're on somniumspace.com, and you can go there, you can download the launcher, and you can come into this in 2D and have a look around, but which is the normal setup that you have on your computers, looking at your monitor. But of course, the best way to enjoy virtual reality is, of course, in 3D. So we'll pop into the town centre quickly and just show you a quick walk around our main plaza. Here we go. This to my left has its twin in London. It's called the Planetarium, and Planetarium, of course, right next door to Madame Tussauds and all the waxworks. And here we have another series of fabulous images from space, vivid colours. Look at that, absolutely gorgeous. And we come in here, and oops a daisy, I've clicked on something and jumped me through the floor. Hold on, let's get back out again. There we go. And there we have accurate representation of planets orbiting the sun. And I'm told that we will have a narrative in this new one that's coming out. I think it was even Morgan Freeman, come to think of it. I'll be a name dropper. There you go. And he's actually going to be doing a narrative for us all about space. So absolutely brilliant. I love all this stuff. God, can't get enough of the old VR tech. I really can't. So I've gone through it again. I must be careful of that. I've got a little blip when I hit a certain button. Where are we? Around the back. So zoom, zoom, zoom. And what we're looking at here, that's our headquarters for Somnium Space in virtual reality in our world. And you can come and visit us there. I'm sure there'll be plenty of people around. I'm one of the community managers, so you'll probably see me floating in there from time to time. Palamedes, Mickey Yellow, I think Chris or Chris Bell, one of the two, is one of our other ones. So you've got a load of staff that you can come and meet, and of course Arthur, who is the founder of Somnium Space. Do come and meet him. This is obviously the intermediate version, so we haven't got all the pins lined up, but I'm sure we'll have that in this one that opens up on the 20th. So you'll be able to come bowling here. We'll have various shops built into our Somnium Mall, so people will be able to come here and actually look around the shops and make some purchases, take them home and put them into their own properties. We have a cinema, and I'll pop in here, click, and then as we come around into the main cinema, there you go, so we can put shows on, etc., and we can watch various events here. Some will be running videos or whatever, straight into our Somnium Space. So there is tons and tons of things that will be happening. Do come and have a look, and then we can show you round, introduce you to some of the people, and you can come along and enjoy Somnium Space with me, Snakebite, and the crowd. Well, thanks for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you in Somnium Space.